Talk about Shadow Ruka. It's a very... if you follow the story on Twitter, you already know what happened with Shadow Ruka. We live in an apartment, and the apartment building, you know, it has an elevator. It has a hallway. We found a cat in our hallway. I was playing Rainbow Six Siege, and Kate goes, "What's up with Tomo's meow?" I take my headphones off, and I hear, "Wow, wow," like a distressed meow. And I'm like, that's not Tomo. I look at Tomo, he's sitting in the box right next to me, just hanging out. So we open our front door, and there's just a friendly cat out there, rolling around. We were petting the cat. We were sitting there. We were waiting. We're like, what's going on? The cat can't open its own doors. None of the doors on the hallway were open. We're like, how did it get here? Obviously, somebody was like, they left their apartment or they came back and their cat got out and they didn't notice. And they probably went to bed. So we were thinking about, like, what do we do with this cat? Like, do we leave it in the hallway? Which is one potential option. And just give it, like, some food, water, and a litter box and let it sit in the hallway. But I was like, no, what if it gets in the elevator and goes to the ground floor or something? Then it's going to be way harder for the owner to find it. What if, some crazy person lives on our floor and just grabs it and, is like, yeah, this is my cat now.
Mine, 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 mine.
So I thought if it was my, I'm not suggesting it would push the button on the elevator. That's outrageous. But if somebody else opened up the elevator and it got in, I'm just saying it becomes much more of a problem. So, like, I thought, if it was my cat, what would I want people to do? And the answer, after we literally waited in the hallway for, like, an hour for the owner to come back, just hoping they would come back early and save us from this situation. But I thought if it was my cat, I would want someone to pull it inside and, give it some litter, give it some water, give it some food, and just kind of wait it out until I left some notes around, and I hoped that the owner would get back to me. He was a nice boy or girl. I didn't really look at, the undercarriage, but why wouldn't you knock on other people's doors, my man? Because there's like 30 apartments on this floor, and it was midnight or 1 a.m. when it started. So I don't want to go around knock, knock, knock. It's like a Romanian grandmother, and I'm like, hey, is this your cat? And she says, fuck off, or something like that, right? I felt like leaving notes was the most appropriate reaction here. What's its name? I originally named it Shadow Ruka, but I like that someone on Twitter called it Romo, and I was like, yeah, that's because he was Roman. Anyway, we took him inside, and he was like real unhappy at the other cats. Anytime he smelled anything that Ruka and Tomo had ever touched, he was just meowing like over and over and over. But I thought he was like pretty cool. We were having like a good situation. And then he started to get a little cat-like. Like, he was jumping around. We sequestered Ruka and Tomo for a bit. They were freaking out, but he did not pee on anything, thankfully. But he started jumping around and, acting like it was his apartment. And at first I was like, cool, he's getting more comfortable. But then he jumped up in the sink and is like, there's like dirty dishes in the sink. So I went to pick him up, and he hissed at me, and I was like, I'm sorry, dude, but you're in the dirty sink, like, you can't be in there. So I tried to pick him up, and he took a swipe at me, like, with his claws out, and I said, okay, well, you are a guest here, and you're being a real asshole. So I made him a temporary litter box, and gave him some food and water, and a nice little nest with a towel in it, and I made a trail of treats to go to the bathroom, and then when he went into the bathroom, I closed him in, and then I went to sleep. Then I woke up at 7 a.m. when his owner knocked on our door and was like, hey, I hear you have my cat, I'm so sorry. And I was like, it's all good. I mean, if it happened to you, I would want the same thing to happen. So I'm not mad that you knocked on my door at 7 a.m. And I got some okay sleep from 7 till 11. And that was basically my night.